All right, ladies and gents, welcome to Money Monday on the 23rd of August, 2021. Pretty decent, little bit of trading day here, getting through some more rationales of what I want to do with this whole trading setup and what to do in the summer months. And I feel like every time I come to a Monday, it's just automatically, oh, I got it. This is going to be the trading plan from now on. Here's what we're going to do. And then at the end of the week, it's just phased into whatever. So I think I'm going to do a better job of just opening myself up and observing more uh, everything that the market's saying and what I'm doing and involved in that. I love being able to just take super small position sizes, not even super small position sizes, but getting in the ring, because it's wisdom to say, looking back at slower months of trading, which is the summer months that we're now in, which is August, the slowest trading month of the 12, that yes, maybe it's good enough. And a lot of the millionaires in the Sykes chat room and all these different other great traders are taking time off. They know when to step away from the markets, and they have the luxury to do that, whereas I don't necessarily have that same luxury. So, and how do I know too, in just the wild possibility that, how do I know that the summer trading months aren't my best personality trading style to match? And I just don't absolutely kill it in summer months for some reason whatsoever, if I don't even try. So that's the kind of perspective I'm holding on with everything in this type of market and what I want to do and with every single one of my trades. And I had a good quote reminded from one of my videos that I was just watching today of Tom Basso. I think the quote was from somebody else, but a good day of trading is one in which you follow your trading plan. It doesn't have to be a positive day. It doesn't have to be a negative day. We're never going to have all 100% winning days, but a good day is really defined as one in which you stick to your trading plan. And I totally need that and reassured that in everything I do. And sticking to developing the trading plan is one of the most important things that I sometimes overlook. And that's what gets me in trouble of either going too far or in the good A plus setup, not doing enough with my entries and exits and all that kind of stuff. So this is a pretty long-winded introduction. Let's get to some housekeeping. SPY should just be known as the ticker ATH. That's just what it does. It's literally insane. We had pretty nice volume within the first minute, candle right at the open. But again, just pounding all-time highs. Just absolutely ridiculous. Market internals. NASDAQ still under $200 billion volume. We're still on the low side around the horn as well, too. Nice, see kind of the same thing we've been seeing. OTCs, again, still under $2 billion total dollar volume on the day. 4 different trades I had, still pretty low size. The day, I don't even know what the day is at. $25 up day. But focusing my strategies and honing in on what I really want to be seeing right now, because I'm not seeing the same short setups I was seeing. I'm not seeing anything that I have been doing or getting my experience in as of right now, other than maybe dip and rips, which is kind of what I've been hitting hard. First one of that is VVOS. Big percentage mover in the pre-market. I actually played this ticker to the downside on the 7th of July. This was a beautiful, beautiful morning dump pattern that I have the video for, that I broke down everything that I'm looking for in this specific pattern. I think I actually mentioned this one in that video. Nice downtrending chart with overhead, huge volume for some reason, whatever this day was, whatever news they had, just immediate spike after the news release, and then rejection of being able to support that rising, pretty much vertical VWAP and just pure downside. I think I nailed that for 12% trade back in July. That was an awesome trade on VVOS. So same ticker, keeping that in mind. I knew it wasn't going to happen again because this is nowhere near the same chart. So we're holding, we get this initial spike after the news of FDA grant of market clearance to VVOS Therapeutics treating mild to moderate sleep apnea, whatever. News has zero relevance whatsoever. We never break VWAP at this point as it rises after that initial 7:30 press release, which is this time frame. We never get a crack of VWAP. We actually squeeze out the shorts who were trying to get in early, thinking this was the top here. Literally almost perfectly bounced off of 5.4. Squeeze still in the pre-market, more upside to come. He finally did get a good little crack of VWAP at this point, but it's failing to turn bearish, which in my mind is a totally bullish signal. So I'm now buying, not huge size once again, but pretty decent size of, $100 share position, $100 size position. I think I get in another attempt here too, as it fails. It puts in a higher low here and it fails to break this point, and we get another rise back above VWAP. Just looking to play pretty much for this move right here, or if it wanted to squeeze. I don't want to say I was looking for the next VRPX, but VRPX had a similar type of price action on a low floater. This is a 16 million float, but you never know with these high percentage movers if or when they want to move, and it's certainly not going to go bullish against me. And the stops that I have in place are going to protect me if it goes incredibly against me for some reason, which I wouldn't see this thing doing. So I was able to take off half a position here as it was getting pretty vertical and coming to this range, which was kind of a good, even with this little bit of reclaim and sell off, that was really what I was looking for. And that's the type of exits I want to be taking, of finding that range of the peak. And that's what I want to be exiting into or buying into, vice versa, on the flip side of that. So then I had half of that remaining position size from market open. Just craziness. I mean, of buyers and sellers still trying to figure out their place right away from the morning bell. Surprised we didn't really see just a huge dump or a huge spike right away. And I was, kind of surprised to see that it was totally wicky within these first few minutes here. I believe I was trading this on the tick volume chart as well. So just choppy once again, kind of defining a few little trend lines to the downside. Eventually cracked VWAP, failed to maintain VWAP, and I got stopped out with that initial first pre-market position. Then price action reclaimed and looked pretty strong. We had buyers coming in at this point, and I think the mentality with this trade was, okay, this is our dip and rip time frame. We're 5 minutes away from 9:45, which is kind of the best quintessential time frame that the craziness from the initial market open is over. And now shorts are establishing their position because now this is a high percentage stock that's failing to maintain those hot levels. So now they have a good entry point below VWAP and they can risk this, blah, 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 goes on and on. That's a different pattern we're looking for. So bought in maybe a little bit early, but I don't regret it. It could have initially gone here without this reject, and we could have potentially seen even more upside because it didn't have this opportunity to do that pullback in that situation. But anyway, got a few bigger position here. I think 100 shares at this point, so a $600 size position. Played it for the move to the upside, obviously risking that region low from market hours. Accidentally, I wanted to sell half of the position at this point. I knew it wasn't going to be 10%. I would have to wait for a new high a day in order to get 10% from that entry point. But knew we were kind of basing out here with this technical range I was developing on the tick chart. So I was looking to sell half, accidentally bought 50 more. So luckily, price came back just quick enough for me to sell 100 at pretty much the same price I would have anyway. And then set a stop in just above my entry point, which was pretty much right around VWAP. So kind of perfect gauge for if this trend was going to continue and push to a new high of day, then I would have been along for the ride with a pretty much free ride. So it ended up breaking a little bit lower, just chopping everybody. Nobody's really winning. And as I literally wrote down here too, that also in the fact that it traded $100 million volume and over 100,000 trades by market open, which is pretty radical. And just even after market open in this little confusion here, you could feel it getting a little squeezy. That something big's going to happen. And you're always, as a long, you're always just ready for that dump off the table. That's why I have my stops set in place on this one, because it's far too quick for me to push a button to try and hit those. But tonight, I even said at 9:52 here at this point, as we're breaking new low of days, I wrote down, I think this thing's done for the day. Longs are bagged. I think shorts are just going to step in now too, because the trend is in. These are hard red confirmation-ish candles to the downside. Just looking here, especially, these are just huge sells, especially from this one here that it tried. This 935 candle, especially too. It tried to come up, put in a top leg, and then just completely hit a wall and fell backwards. It's the same thing too, just shoved through this level. And wasn't looking the greatest, but of course, looking at the volume chart even too, but especially it developed a little bit more rise. Again, it just all these candles, just wicks on tops and bottoms, and red, green, no real trend set in between, but curling closer to VWAP, and then eventually you get the shorts, who would have been me. That's exactly what I wrote down. The trend I was thinking was now in was the downside. Everybody got squeezed into a halt, and we opened up with a little decent of a gap up, and then just sell off once again, hard sell off. And this trend here, this second hard red candle, the same thing, that the mindset is, okay, so that's the trend for the day. This has got to be it for the longs. You're just going to be bleeding the whole rest of the day, fading hard. And you were for a little bit, for 15 minutes, and then it just starts to stair step once again. And then dump the longs, who are thinking it's curling back to VWAP, trying to play this. And then you get the shorts who are squeezing in once again. It's so again and again and again, rinse and repeat. It'd be interesting to follow up on this thing if it does want to go red the next few days, what it wants to do. But of course, a totally different chart. Look at the volume compared to the July 7th when I traded it to the downside too. Just non-existent, just barely even a blip. Totally different than that chart on the 7th. It's crazy to see what it'll do. It's it's kind of is a fluke today for what it does. Maybe there's professional pumpers behind it, but I would like to definitely follow up on this one. To start doing some of the other plays that I played essentially on SONA, but I'll do SENS first. So this is a breakout trade that I was looking for from these few days here. Let's go with that one. So coming into today, we're developing a nice little base around the $3 whole level area. Got a little bit of overhead resistance coming on, but have been putting in some decent volume to support this level price action. And it's a super slow mover, not the most volatile type of action, but the pre-market looked pretty awesome at the levels we were holding and obviously risking this 3-5 kind of line of resistance support. If it was going to crack that, then I certainly wasn't going to be a part of it at this point. So watched it heavily out of market open. Got a little bit of a spike and maybe a little bit too much of a chase with my first entry, but worked out in the end. And it was holding levels well. It was selling a little bit more, but it wasn't breaking down hard, which said, okay, this may be more opportunity to get some more shares. So got a few more, held it well through, gave it plenty of room to run once again. Watch it to the upside here now to 3.6. Again, this isn't the most volatile mover. I knew I was going to have to sit in for a slow, long ride, maybe even potentially hold this for multiple days. Got a pretty nice sell here as we were getting vertical, hugely vertical for some reason. I got 369 as one of my fills for half of the position. And this is the one, same thing that like with VVOS that, and like I talked about in the introduction of, now I'm just going to change my whole trading style from one day on Monday because that's what I always do in the blah, blah, whatever. I think I'm going to start instead of just taking half the position off and letting the rest potentially ride, which worked incredibly well in a 2020 market, in a hot 2021 market. This is really the meat of the move, and that's all I got to be really looking for is the nail and bail. Pretty much just scalping these. 10% is a lot to ask from a lot of these charts. And for me to hope for anything beyond, even though that is a greater risk reward or potential opportunity, if it does work out in the end, it's just not happening. It's too much of a headache to just constantly be hitting stops when you put it right above your entry or whenever the next technical level is. So for instance, on this one, I put it underneath VWAP, which was above my entry point. But that was a confirmation that this trend is over for the day. Even though it did curl back up a little bit, still rejected. Just didn't bring in the volume and the attention to push this thing any higher. Because why would it? It's not a volatile mover. It's not a crazy fast spiker, other than these days. But it just wasn't in the books for a huge move today, but did nail it pretty decently. From 357, I think my average was 356, around there somewhere, to 369. A few cents, 10 cents, 15 cents, math, whatever on this, just decent trade. Not a terrible trade, but I think again going into, I want to be in the situation of having that good problem to have of cutting these trades too soon, that there's way more room left on the table, and then I can address the problem then of, okay, let's take off half of the position line and then let the rest run, because it's just not been serving me well of trying to think that I can, I'll just take this half off and then I can put my risk level at my entry price or whatever technical level like this one again, let the rest ride. Because now I'm just cutting my profits in half every single time I do this. I'm in the trades that I need to be in and I'm seeing the patterns play out, but I'm just kind of screwing myself over, shooting myself in the foot every time I do it because I'm not nailing and bailing. I'm trying to stick around for craziness the rest of the day when there ain't nothing that's showing that craziness. So that's just adjusting and learning what the market's telling. Probably should have done that a long time ago in this August month, but we live and we learn. SONA, this was a first green day play that I was looking for. Had the big day on this Thursday. Craziness that I did that day. Had a huge sell-off before the close on that day. The next trading day on that Friday, sold off once again. Just really nothing this day. So looking for that bounce, that daily bounce, especially just hard red days here. Got to bounce at some point. Somebody's got to buy it. Somebody's got to cover to do something. Out of the open, this was really the first time I've ever traded this first green day short type of pattern and not copycatted off of somebody else's trades or just pulled it up randomly and saw it doing this and oh, that's a title trade. I had this one on a watch list beforehand, so kind of excited to test it out, see if it was going to do something. Open pretty weak, choppy, zero volume whatsoever on the day. Only 5,000 trades in total on the day. Had some volume coming in at this 10-20 mark with price action shoving, so I'm thinking, okay, this could go crazy. This is a super low float of 2.06 million. No news, catalyst or anything. This is just totally first green day short or first green day play. Yes, first green day dip buy opportunity. So kind of got a bit of I initially saw it pull it up here. I had it on my screen the whole time and then saw it coming in green with this volume. I was thinking, okay, is this move for real? I was thinking these two candles were just a little bit of fake out or something. Then price started shooting up a little bit more and I'm thinking, okay, I got to be in this. It could go crazily with how low float it is and how if volume all of a sudden starts to come in on it. Started chasing out a little bit more. Of course, I understood that with the low floatingness and low volume, I've got to deal with some choppiness. So stuck around for these few minutes, got a huge crazy spike out of nowhere. I'm thinking, okay, great. This could set up for a really nice trade. Nowhere near 10% for me to even think about touching that exit button. And then just sold off hard. I'm thinking, okay, I'm giving you plenty of room to work if you're gonna, but just volume fell off the table. It was not in the works today. It actually fell same as the entry price or same as the opening price. All these dojis in the day, just zero volume coming through, zero follow through on this type of play. So great first experience on the first green day play. Here's your 10% from $6 to $6.6 if you nailed it perfectly somehow. If you were watching this so closely that you saw the bid stacking up at this point after the volume just completely disappeared in this 10-minute time frame. Just interesting charts. And that was in a lot of the market today. A lot of tickers on my scanner that were just moving that I really had no idea why. Not even any news catalyst, not even any type of chart pattern that I could recognize, but around the horn, across the board. A lot of tickers, a lot of green stocks that I couldn't place a pin in why they were moving that day. So that's another reason that I just need to keep watching a little bit more. I'm sticking with these big percentage movers in the pre-market because that's what I've constantly been doing and just rinse and repeat on all these. But a little bit confusing on that end. Then some, I traded XERS a little bit in pre. Doesn't show my buy. Okay, so this is, I so remember this ticker from somewhere, but looking through my database, I could not find it anywhere. This is a pretty high float, 55 million float. The news catalyst today was announced approval of supplemental new drug application for whatever. Decent percentage move from the previous trading day's close. Daily, of course, is just bleh. Was not, coulda, shoulda, woulda looked at this one as a morning dump if I was around at this time frame. Taking it from 3.9, that was your 10% block right there. You could have easily escaped, ran away with that 10%. Curled back to VWAP pretty nicely, and I love the fact that when it curls right underneath VWAP, because it's such a short trap. If you're short and you're just so scared that, man, we could get a perk, an immediate shove through VWAP to the upside that is just like a waiting tiger ready to pounce on you. You just always have to be constantly looking at the tape and aware of if you're short on this one. So as a long, it was just holding so well. Yeah, I had a little bit of rejects when it did want to try above VWAP, but I was thinking if any point volume comes in on this one as we get closer to market open, just a little protection trade at that point. I think this was 10, 20 shares. If it wanted to curl back up, like it did a few minutes after my exit on the trade, I set a super small stop on this one thinking, okay, it could just fail and break this bottom here and then end up dumping the whole rest of the day like a normal morning dump type of pattern would work. But it did end up curling back right above VWAP and again, rejected being up there, just didn't like being so high. Failed. Choppiness, didn't want to be above VWAP for this little morning dump or dip and rip opportunity, excuse me. There was a little bit of a kind of double bottom here. These are some very wicky opportunities here. I think Chris even tried for this straightaway dip 2 minutes after the market opened. But again, it failed to break VWAP at that point too. You call this a little opportunity here, 2.7. Can't even get it to 3. Can't even break the $3 hold level. Was a little bit of a 10% block, dip and rip opportunity. But there's no follow through. Failed to ever break VWAP again. Rejects here, rejects here. Tough on that one. That's August, baby. KXIN was another one that I've been watching for a while. Tried to trade a few times. Last week, Friday. I didn't even see it today. I just pulled it up later. And apparently now it's broken out to... It broke that Friday level, but then just immediately reject once again. Nothing's able to sustain. And it's choppy here. You're getting faked out if you're long. You're getting faked out if you're short. If it's, oh, now it's actually cracking VWAP with volume. Time to get short. No, you're screwed. To the upside. New high day. Just blah, blah, blah. Over and over and over again. Frustrating. And then last one I was mentioning, TSOI. It's the OTC runner. Had the breakout day last week Friday once again, but then just awful sell-off. I didn't even want to look at it anymore with what it was going to do. And that totally ruined the panic dip buy opportunity look for me, because if you're long, then you already had to sustain that, and you probably already would have gotten screwed out anyway. If you're bag holding, then you're kind of selling. Oh, now I'm green again. Now I can sell. Just totally ruins the trade. But it's still, we reclaimed hard today. So it still could set up for maybe some panic in the next few days if it wants to attract even more and more longs to bring them in, bag hold them to panic this even harder. But it just, if the price action is like this, it's just going to be so atrocious, and I don't want any part of it. I just want the pure, beautiful green OTC device. But it's just unpredictable. How do you know if it's going to go even more? You can say this is a consolidation area with a nice technical level resistance as a short that you could get in that would squeeze out a lot of shorts that broke that for why it got there. But then why are we getting this dump here back to VWAP, and it's holding VWAP here? What's your guess of if it goes up or down the rest of the day, afternoon? Not worth it. So that was all I had today. Again, $20 up $5 up day. Some nice lessons to keep applying in the next few trading days, at least for the rest of this month of August. Just exciting every single day. I love every single aspect of this, and continuing to grow in this YouTube community, just seeing the opportunity of how many perspectives can be applied to these charts in the markets, and so many different variables to consider. It can be certainly overwhelming, but that's kind of the refreshing part for me, is you can't even think that you understand every aspect of it, but yet here we are trying to do the impossible. So I thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.